What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Swolecast here on RotoGrinders.com. David Kitchen alongside Davis Maddock and Peter Overzet. And we got some draft stuff to talk about, honestly. Like, there's just a lot of question marks, and people are asking, what are the fantasy implications of the draft that we just had, and how does that apply to our Dynasty drafts and our best ball drafts? And other people might not cover it. They might be hand in the dirt type of shows. Not this one. This one's the longest running daily fantasy show, and that's what we're going to give you. We're going to give you all the answers to the test. That's coming up next on the Swolecast on RotoGrinders.com.
Are you Davis Maddock from the Swolecast? I was like, yep, that's me.
I just want you guys to know I'm total dust. I'm the problem.
Hear ye, hear ye.
Leave it to the guy with the crypto dunes, Abby, to not understand context.
I should have known you getting 30 likes was directly written by someone else.
You know me, I don't do a ton of research before the show.
I've put no research into this. Don't know if it's true at all.
You're on the right show.
To it, bro. Live a little.
Live a little.
Just live a little, guys.
All right, we're going to live a little on this show. Welcome in, everyone. If you're joining us live, just leave us a comment. If you're joining us later, leave us a comment. Let us know that you're here. Give us a like, subscribe, all that jazz. Let's get right into it because we've only got 45 minutes. And
MLB crunch time. MLB crunch.
We got why? It's because Sosa was double booked.
No, we're like a later season of Futurama where Fox decided they didn't really want to have us anymore. We got preempted by baseball.
How many people were watching Crunch Time? I literally have no idea. How many?
This is my question.
More than this show.
For sure.
Well, that's what I was trying to figure out.
But I am just wondering, I remember watching Al Smizzle and CSU Ram doing daily baseball shows 15 years ago. Are the shows still basically the same, or is it
No, they've changed a little bit. But the first ever Grinders Live host, this guy.
Soccer Dave. Theoretically, everyone who's ever done a live DFS show is part of the tree.
I'm not sure about live DFS show because there was a guy named Crazy Gaby back in the day who actually started that.
And it's this kind of content that proves once and for all why we should have preempted their programming to go live at our regular scheduled time.
Correct.
Yeah. We do have the draft to talk about. Also, shout out to Dan Gasper, Mr. Total 05, for those that are wanting him to come on. We ask him every week, will you come on? And, he says, no, I got too much to do. I'm so busy. I literally cannot devote any sort of time.
So actually, to be fair to Tuttle, it's more that his NFL takes right now are I heard Quintus Cephas got unsuspended. That. It's like he's not locked in. The way that you are locked in, Dave. He's not there.
Yeah. Yeah. Pete, how's it going? How was your draft show last week?
It was fun, man. Yeah, we had a lot of people. Davis had a very good show. I give credit where credit's due. Davis had the best Penix reaction, and
I saw.
Yeah,
I feel like I would have given an awesome Penix reaction too.
Yeah, well, now is your time, Kitchen. Everyone is here waiting. Let's get it. What is the David Kitchen Penix reaction? Pretend like it just happened. The Atlanta Falcons with the 8th overall pick select Michael Penix Jr. cut to David Kitchen in his Tennessee.
What? What? He was not even top 15 on my draft board. Oh my gosh. This is crazy. The Falcons. What? Over $100 million. This does not make sense at all.
You know what? Credit where credit is due. That's one of the biggest laughs you're gonna get out of me all year. That was really good.
It's like how I fade excitement with when April shows me something really simple, and I'm like, "Whoa, that's so cool."
I mean, that was the moment of after the first 4 picks, and then we're like, now the draft can start. And then it got wild really quick. People are asking him my Titans reaction. It's whatever, man. It's just whatever. I wasn't in love with really any of the picks. Maybe the linebacker they got, but who wants to talk about that?
I mean,
Like when they passed over Johnny Wilson, like in the 5th or 6th round, I'm like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, I gotta say, I don't think
That's
the Titans
where
had a very good
that's
draft.
where you thought the Titans lost the plot, not taking Johnny Wilson.
No, it's just like I kept on waiting for them to go. Like I really wanted them to go after some high-profile receiver, tight end, whatever, and like they didn't get anyone sexy. Like that's for offense.
No, Dave, I gotta actually say I agree with Dave here. Like the fact that they did a draft and they took one offensive player, it's like I guess we're really hoping Kyle Phillips and Nick Westbrook-Akine can be rotational wide receivers. It's not great.
Not just a fantasy draft, brothers. You got to get some players on the defensive side of the ball too.
Oh, I did want to ask you this, Peter. What do you do like during defensive selections? Like specifically on Saturday when it's rounds
Googling.
4 through 7. Like no, it's like I decided round 4, 5, 6, 7. I just went golfing. I just went to the range and hung out, and it was like, oh, there's a string of like 5 defensive picks. I just don't need to do anything.
Davis,
It's just like, who cares?
I'll tell you a dirty little secret. I was touching grass for every single non-round 1 pick. You think I'm sitting here sweating these picks as they come in? I'm gonna have everyone on Twitter, Discord what do I need to watch for at that point?
100%.
Well, I mean, I had basically my best 3-day stretch on Twitter since the shadow ban went live.
I heard you say that to Leone, and I went like you had the one Troy Franklin tweet, and then like a couple hundred burgers, and you're acting like your Twitter account is
100 burger is good for me these days. 100 burger, we are taking it, dude. When the whole algorithm is trying to throttle your account, I do have definitive proof that my account is throttled though, because this is probably my greatest tweet of all time, and it got 23K views. What I'm learning from the Jets drafting all these RBs is that Breece Hall is unaware that jet fuel doesn't melt steel beams. That's my greatest tweet.
I think it's too smart, too inside baseball reference to really pop off. You need the simplicity of Troy Franklin died or Marvin Mims died, so Troy Franklin could die or whatever.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna compromise my art.
Yeah, I will say I let you have it because you were having a good, like I was having
a good show.
I specifically went to Twitter the day after because I was like, Pete, I was touching grass. I was not touching grass. I was in a basketball gym.
Touching ass, yeah.
No, in the girls at AU Street. So not that. So yeah, Holly's right next to me, my wife. But
anyways,
she's not letting me
sorry.
do that. Yeah. So, anyways, I went to Twitter just to see what Davis posted, and he was like, "Oh, I am levitating right now. My pants are off," whatever it was. And I could have sworn that a couple days earlier he said on this show when I asked him about Xavier Worthy that they didn't need Xavier Worthy because they already had one.
Yeah. And then he did Davis, a classic Matic 180 and was like, it makes so much sense. They just get there. Why am I doing that? Like, it makes so much sense. They just get your Tyreek Hill replacement.
Here's the thing. As long as they didn't take Keon Coleman, I was going to be super, super into it. As long as it was not Keon Coleman, I was going to be like, this is the greatest pick of all time. And it was. It was the greatest pick of all time.
Keon Coleman, though, now I feel like has just everybody in the palm of his hand. Just from
a lot of people who haven't watched him play yet and have only heard him talk are super, super into Keon Coleman. And we'll see how that turns out for them.
Hey, you know what's crazy too is he actually had no personality before this process. Like a lot of guys work on their 40 time or how to do the shuttle. He did like PR training for his likability ratings because he knew that's all he was going to be able to hang his hat on. And it has worked. He
tested out workshopped a few things, and Macy's was the
FF Comedy Hour _Keon. People are saying.
And with that, let's get to this week's FF Comedy Hour _ Pete Overzet's overview.
got that dog in him. What? He's got that dog in him. What? Over that, over you. Come on.
All right. Thank you, Kitchen. I thought you'd never ask, like last week when it took you about 40 minutes to get to the overview of the show. The Swolecast, though, good news, is back to weekly, which might be great for you guys, but it means I have to write Overzet's overviews every week, and I'm already so tired. I'm ready to go full Silva and turn this into a 30-second segment with just a few bullet points. The ultimate homage. The NFL draft, as we have mentioned, is in the books, and the Titans missed out on Joe Alt-Right and settled for another lineman instead. JC Antifa was his name. They spent their second-round pick on a defensive tackle in an effort to debunk the myth that was circulating that they are now a beta boy team post-Vrabel. Does that check out for you, Kitchen? Have they gotten back to their high T ways?
Are they going to bring Pierre Tart back?
Let's just say that's one sweat I did not want to have.
The Falcons did spend the 8th overall pick on Michael Penix Jr., a pick that has big Kitchen takes Deshaun Watson in every draft energy. Dylan Laube fell to the 6th round of the NFL draft. Dane Brugler reported that teams got spooked by his recent appearance on a fantasy podcast. Hate to see that. Nosedive his draft.
Dylan, what do you do for fun? Just like to have fun, brother.
He's like, if he's agreeing to go on shows with this guy, we got to question his judgment.
I thought that was a compliment, you saying fantasy podcast.
Yeah, Davis does a decent amount of fantasy. Davis did have an extremely busy NFL draft weekend. We already talked about some of his tweets succeeding. And of course, many tireless hours were spent repurposing Just Bomb's video content as his own. Thank you,
You
Davis.
like that? I didn't even have to re-edit them. I just tweeted the old videos. You like that?
Yeah. You repurposed your repurposed content. That's impressive.
Correct, I did.
BBM launched on Monday, and there's 1.5 million up top, which is sadly only 75% of what Karain took home. That means Davis will unfortunately still need to max the little Chihuahua 69 in his hopes of chasing Karain.
And I plan to.
David Kitchen didn't want to draft a team today, despite the contest being live. And his reason is actually very logical. The thought being he would know too much relative to the field right now, who collectively knows very little. And so it was kind of this, you need to crawl before you can walk. You need ADP to settle before you can live a little. Is that correct,
100%.
Kitchen?
100%. You got to, and also I feel like I'm playing with a stacked deck and letting everyone kind of get a little bit ahead so I can catch up.
Yeah,
totally.
The drafting community thanks you for that act of charity. Speaking of drafting, Davis has best ball ranks out. You can get those via his Patreon. And if you need a harder sell than that, just know there's no way he's actually drafting off them.
I am. For the first time ever, I have rankings uploaded. I was convinced by the big board to do it because I'm not a sophisticated auto drafter anymore.
Mr. Tuttle 05 actually offered to join the show today, and he provided us with a list of topics he'd be down to discuss. This is not a bit. Something called MSI, don't know what that is. Madrid Open, UCL, MLB, or NBA playoffs were included in his offer. I mean, like a decent amount of options for us to mull over. Collectively, we did decide to pass. We appreciate the offer, Tuttle, but there's just no room for that stuff. We need the full 45 minutes to make Dylan Laube jokes. Back to you, Kitchen.
Thank you. Yeah, now 30 minutes. And someone mentioned it. Playoff Rondo said, "Welcome to Zeke Elliott season." And let's just lead off there, Davis. As a former Cowboys fan, former Cowboys insider, and former Zeke Elliott lover, what are your thoughts?
Well, other two, true. Zeke lover,
Davis,
not true.
Please don't make me pull up the deleted receipts. So what are your thoughts on the Cowboys with Zeke this season, though?
I mean, I think the fundamental issue is if the market treated Zeke as radioactive, he would probably be a good selection. That's not what I It's not what I anticipate happening. I think the market will probably overreact, and it will just end up being a situation where,
like, what does overreacting mean, though?
like
in
making him
this
like
context?
a seventh, like making him like a 7th round
No,
pick.
that's not going to happen. No one's going to do that.
If it's okay, it's August
Maybe.
3rd. It's
Maybe.
August. It's August 3rd.
I'll close
Michael
my eyes.
Leone has Ezekiel Elliott ranked at 64 overall. The Patriots or the Cowboys backfield is Rico Dowdle, Ezekiel Elliott, and Deuce Vaughn.
None of the sites are going to rank Zeke over Rico.
They, you know
Silva
what?
has just
They
capitulated
should.
to Leone as saying that he is going to be the feature back in this Cowboys electric offense, going to be catching passes just like he was at the end of last season for the Patriots.
Let me say this. I think Zeke is fine as like a 13th or 14th round pick, which is, where the sites are going to have him ranked right now. But I think it's more likely that he's the Leonard Fournette of this year than he is the new bell cow back for the Dallas Cowboys.
You don't think, like, what do you mean?
That
You don't
he
think he's
just like barely ever gets used. He's just like a depth add on their thing is basically irrelevant. But the
I
guy
would
we were
get
all
that
sitting
if
around,
they had anybody else on their team. Like Malik Davis, who Davis was famously in on before like first half of I think it was his most roster guy in at one point in his best ball teams. Rico and Royce Freeman. Like,
put some respect on Deuce Vaughn's name. My God.
I don't even think nepotism can save Deuce Vaughn at this point.
Short King Summer, bro. Don't
It's
turn your
Short
back
King
on it,
Summer,
Davis.
dude. No, I mean, and the Cowboys offense as a whole, it might just not be as good, right? They didn't spend any picks on, they didn't take a wide receiver until round 6. Like their 11 personnel is Ezekiel Elliott, Jake Ferguson, Jalen Tolbert, Brandon Cooks, and CeeDee Lamb. It's not great.
Well, it's clear that the team's committed to the passing game, and that's why they've, extended Dak Prescott, so I think they clearly know where their priorities are at.
Yeah.
I mean, so Davis, you're saying you're not going to have very much of him because everyone is like, where is your threshold of where you are just absolutely not going to draft him at?
Not going to draft Zeke. I mean, I would not draft Zeke.
Is that Sosa's doing, or did Davis Borg?
No, he left the room. I think he clicked out of the stream.
What has happened is Davis was like doing multiple things at once.
Oh, yeah.
And accidentally clicked the wrong button.
Have you seen his move on ADP chasing now, Dave? He drops out to go do a Sports Grid TV hit mid podcast and then pops back.
It's not my fault. I'm literally available like all day, and Sam and Pat are like, we can't make any of those other times work. The only time we can do this is this time in the afternoon.
Yeah, and Pat's going on every Tom, Dick, and Harry show now. He's going to be on the NBC Roto World. He's going to be on the NBC Roto World podcast this week or next week. Like, he couldn't just do one little offensive line bit for us last week. Amazing.
To be fair, I don't think we actually asked. We were respecting his paternity leave.
Correct. Okay, I have Ezekiel Elliott 128th overall, so that's like 11th, 12th round range. I've got him behind Blake Corum, Brian Robinson, Nick Chubb, Gus Edwards. That feels about right to me. I'm just really not that interested.
All right, Pete. Any Zeke thoughts from you?
Well, I just gave my thought. I mean, I would rather. I'm fine taking him where he's at now, and he's going to be mispriced for a bit. I mean, ETR and Leg Up both have him pretty high up in their ranks, so he'll slowly move up. But yeah, I prefer Rico. That would be my way to play it.
I prefer Rico too.
Yeah, and that's why I just like, if the market wants to get Zeke over Rico, then let him.
Speaking of Pat Kerrane, he put out his first draft ever for this season. Do you know who his last pick of the draft was?
Was it Greg Dortch, I believe?
Greg Dortch.
Good pick.
King Summer.
Good pick. Greg George, undercover draft winner. They did not draft a replacement slot guy.
I know. And another draft winner. Do you know who it was, Davis?
I mean, there were a lot. There were a lot of draft
DeMarcus.
I've seen so much DeMarcus Robinson hype lately.
Yeah, so I need to stop this because I saw Daigle tweeting about this the other day. I do need to get this on the record that he did have a nice little stretch buoyed by touchdowns. DeMarcus Robinson has been in the NFL since 2016. He's topped out at 458 yards. His quarterbacks in his career, you might have heard of them: Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. Never scored more than 4 touchdowns in a season, never more than 48 receptions in a season. This is, when you look up replacement level wide receiver 3 in the dictionary, you actually don't even see DeMarcus Robinson because he's not even that good. Can we settle?
He had a 31% air yard share. That's more than Cooper Kupp last year.
I don't really care. I don't really care about any of that at all. I think Kupp was basically just playing through injury, like a rehabbing in the middle of the week. I think
he beat out Puka in explosive play rate.
I really don't care about that. I mean, I super don't care about that.
All right.
Look at you, Kitchen, referencing explosive play rate.
My guy has John Daigle like Slack messages pulled up right now, and he's just reading them.
The thing is like no one needs to trip over themselves to draft DeMarcus Robinson right now. He's gonna be there, available in the last round of drafts, like all year. Like, go get the rookies right now. They're going to get way too expensive. Like DeMarcus Robinson will be there in August. You could pack those bags later. I promise.
Who's your favorite 18th round pick right now, Peter?
Luke McCaffrey or Ben Simmons.
Oh yeah. Okay. 2 very good.
We got to talk. Yeah. We got to talk about Ben Simmons because he's the fantasy guys. Just like seeing
people are saying there's very similar vibes to their selections. Sam Laporta, Ben Sinnott. People are saying
yes. So, Davis, are you buying into this hype?
Yeah, I mean, he has only played tight end for about 18 months and was good at it immediately. He played fullback for most of his time at K-State. He also went to this great school that really only lets smart, intelligent, handsome people in and graduate there. So that is definitely a point in his favor. And it's the one position that we have like demonstrable evidence. It's inarguable. Even the nerds don't argue this. You got to be high athleticism to succeed there. And he was a 9.89 RAS guy, I believe, off the top of my head. And look, I was taking Ertz in the big board. That's going to be wrong because Simmons just going to take those snaps like right away.
It's a sick landing spot too.
Yes.
I mean, there's not one single massive target earner in that offense. You're going to get an upgrade at quarterback, tons of explosive plays. Like my kind of comp for what I think we could see for him, like once he gets his sea legs, is kind of like the Cole Kmet type season we got with Fields.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Where I don't want to get out over my skis with the Laporta. I mean, Laporta is like the Puka thing. It's just not going to happen again.
Not going to happen.
Where you get that thing. But could we get a top 12 tight end season for him on the back of like 6 or 7 touchdowns and some big plays? Absolutely.
All right. Strategy question for you, Davis. Pete, I don't even know, like, are you in any like dynasty leagues? Like how many dynasty leagues?
Yeah, he's in one where he never does trades.
I think I'm down to 2 now. And that's not true, Davis.
Donating.
We did the big Garrett Wilson trade.
We did do a Garrett Wilson trade.
So, how you feeling about that after Rome's landing spot?
I don't even remember what we did. I just had to get. I've got this awful team.
Yeah. It was right at the whatever. We won't talk dynasty trades.
If you guys are done talking about what may or may not have happened in your trade, because rookie drafts are starting to pop off right now. How is that influencing or not influencing your best ball drafts? Because that's one of the reasons also why I did not want to draft just yet. I want my mind clear for my dynasty rosters, and after that, I can start.
It's not influencing it in any way at all.
Pete?
Totally separate activities.
How dynasty is informing like best ball decisions?
Well, like, are you drafting more rookies or like later round rookies? I'll give you an example. I
Yeah,
drafted
please do.
Puka last year in like the late 4th or 5th in my dynasty.
This question was
draft.
all so you could flex about
No,
drafting Puka.
no, but it is applicable here. And so I knew about Puka because I had drafted him in a late round in my dynasty draft. And so that was like influenced what I was doing. Led to my big drafters score.
We've talked about this on Ship Chasing for a moment of being real, that I do think it is helpful in understanding, like, what are you buying from these guys? And some of the selling point is just like, hey, if they hit, the upside is there for them to be a nice best ball producer, but you don't necessarily want to take on the risk of that in Dynasty, where like the bust kills you so much more, where it's like, I don't think Keon Coleman or AD Mitchell are that good, but like I'm going to draft them in best ball, whereas I might be more inclined to fade them in Dynasty for a guy like Troy Franklin, who I think maybe has a better prospect profile. So I do think there are ways you can use different lenses and get exposures in different spots.
Davis, who is the ship chasing guy that they're going to be all in on?
I think it's gonna be true. It's got to be Troy Franklin, right? That's what you guys are gonna get, Troy Franklin in like the 17th round in all these drafts.
Troy Franklin now checks like almost all the boxes for it. And I mean, the KJ Hamler, Marvin Mims trilogy rounding out with Troy Franklin busting. I mean, who doesn't want to head to the movies to see that one?
I think that for it to be uniquely painful enough, though, it's got to be someone who's more expensive. So that's why I think he might not qualify.
Well,
I mean,
they got to start cheap and then we make them expensive.
You still think it can't be Corley?
No, dude, Corley sucks.
Corley is good.
Is he going to get in the Aaron Rodgers doghouse, dude? He's going to get banished to the shadow realm. So quickly.
You think that Malachi Corley is not smart enough to have watched Loose Change already? He's showing up. He's showing up to
don't recycle
OTAs.
your Twitter bits that didn't get enough likes.
He's Malachi Corley is showing up to training camp and he's like, Rodgers, bro, you see these chemtrails? You see these? I'm telling you, if he's smart.
He's going to have he's going to get through 2 practices in OTAs and he's going to have Randall Cobb on the phone being like, dude, I can't throw screen passes to this guy. Can you get your ass back up here?
Roman Wilson is another candidate to be the ship chasing guy.
Who?
Roman Wilson.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Someone said Roman Johnny Wilson in the chat.
He's just not.
Guy has no draft capital now.
Yeah.
But he can be a better version of Quez Watkins, and we all need that pick every once in a while on our teams.
Except they took Aeneas Smith, who's way better than him, though.
Does it have to be a wide receiver? Because there's a running back who
white kid, pretty plucky, at University of New Hampshire.
No,
Colt
not
favorite.
Dylan. Mr.
Estime?
No. Yeah. I mean, but he would be one. I was thinking
Gretch
about
is hype on
Vidal.
the Broncos running back. Oh yeah,
or Vidal, however you say it. Kamani Vidal.
He's not a ship chasing sleeper. He's everyone's sleeper.
Everyone loves him. Yeah.
We need to quarter the market on someone that like the film watchers don't like.
Yeah.
That we are
for it to be a ship chasing guy. All the people who spend their entire lives doing fab for some degree, they got to be like, oh, those idiots. I would never take him.
Okay. All right. Who are guys, Davis, assuming you're already drafting in dynasty leagues, like who are guys that you're surprisingly in on now after the draft? Like,
I'll probably end up with Bo Nix in every league because he's going to be he's going to be a 2nd round pick. He's a starting quarterback.
But that's the thing with like Penix as well. Like
Penix, I will let
overall.
Someone else I'll let have Penix.
But he's not, and even in Superflex league, he's being drafted in like the 2nd round. Like no one believes in him.
But he's not an asset that is likely to appreciate because he's not likely to play, and he's not likely to project as a starting quarterback next season either.
Like if Ben Gretch is in your league, probably send him a few trade offers because he's the only one who's drafting him.
I don't know if he likes Penix that much.
He does. He likes he's a
he didn't like
Huskies truther.
No, he didn't like Jalen McMillan. All of us nerds, all for big board stuff, all like Jalen McMillan, and Gretch was fudding him.
Big Adunze guy, though.
Well, sure. Who's not?
True that.
Not me anymore.
Really?
Yeah, you're out.
Well, not until he gets cheaper. I mean, he's all of those Bears ADPs are pretty out of whack right now.
Spoiler
Oh, Dunze was going in the 4th round. He is not a 4th round pick anymore.
Correct. Yeah.
FF Doom says even Ben said he sucks. Haha.
All right, Dave. I'm gonna give you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you a small spoiler here. All right.
Okay.
Small spoiler for Best Ball Mania. You're on the clock. It is
Okay.
the 2-3 turn, and
Yeah.
you have to make a selection out of these 10 players.
10?
Chris Olave. I'll give you 5. I'll give you 5. Chris Olave, Devin Achane,
Yeah.
Devonta Smith,
Not H.
Cooper Kupp, and Josh Allen. What do you do?
Who was the first one? Olave?
Olave.
Yeah, give me him.
Okay, you got to make another pick though. You got to make 2.
Oh, I don't know. It's not A-Chain. I don't know. I'd probably
It's
little.
it's the second straight year of like once you get to like pick 14, it's like the next 20 dudes are all the same. It's pretty brutal.
Yeah. Like Smith does not excite me. Bill's offense, no thanks. I'll just
What is
I'll
your
pass.
Dave? What is your draft plan this year?
Yeah.
Are we thinking max Best Ball Mania, max DraftKings? What sort of are you just gonna vibe?
You know what? I might go all in on the Eliminator this year. Just
Nice.
really be the Eliminator thought leader. Roll out a couple strategies.
Maybe a
Yeah.
couple posts on Kavish, how to win the Eliminator.
Right. Live a little and just survive. I mean, really, that's the name of the game. I do want to give a shout out to Underdog for not feeling like they had to go like above what they did last year was awesome, but the payouts, that was like the one point of criticism, and they addressed it. So,
I mean, some people hate it though.
why do they hate it?
They want more money up top. It's a lottery anyways, so have them. And so a lot of people like the regular season prizes as well. But probably what's going to happen is there will be another tournament on Underdog that has regular season prizes or cumulative scoring.
That's what happened last year too. But they already
the dirty little secret about how people actually feel about tournament payouts is it is retroactively whatever structure would have benefited their portfolio the most in that given year is
Correct.
their favorite structure.
Or-
and then that bleeds into their bias for the following year.
Shocker that Easy is like, I don't know how I feel about all the money going to right week 17.
Well, and I forget, someone says like if you max enter and make the finals, like you would make like $3,000.
No, wrong.
This year you get your money back, $37.50 on the max center if you make the finals.
Well, almost $3,000.
Last year it was significantly less than that.
Yeah,
Right.
I think it was $500.
So
Yeah, which is just a big.
People are saying that 87th place in any tournament should pay out right about 2,500. Sort of says.
That's a good callback.
someone in the comments said you had to be top 50 for 2,500. They knew because they surpassed me in the final few weeks, and yes, they did. So, shout out to them.
Dave,
But
did
yeah,
you
I
see
mean-
that drafters, after 4 consecutive years of not filling their tournament, added 80,000 spots to their tournament this year?
No.
Davis, don't you feel like that's a failure on you? I consider you one of the foremost drafters influencers out there. How are you not getting these contests filled, dude?
I max it every single year. I do a couple podcasts on the structure every single year. I don't know what more I can
I
do.
only did 7 teams last year, but obviously crushed one of those 7 teams. So probably
Wow.
didn't
Okay,
affect
we do have to talk about this controversy. Big
Yeah.
Underdog bowing to the cabal and changing Taysom Hill to a quarterback instead of leaving him at tight end.
Didn't we already do this thing? The NFL changed the designation and that just trickles down everywhere.
But it's clearly a lie, right? It's the Saints lying.
But
Like
you
the-
just said that Underdog capitulated when it was the NFL capitulated to
But they
whoever.
had
to
him
say-
they had him as a tight end last year, and they chose not to.
Okay, can I get some alpha on the rookie tight end class other than the obvious two guys?
I don't think
With
there's
Brock
really.
Bowers.
There's not really anyone to discuss. Like, is Theo Johnson going to earn a target this year?
Theo Johnson,
It's just
Jatavian
like,
Sanders.
It's just like Daniel Bellinger, right?
Yeah.
Like these tight end premium leagues or 2 tight end leagues. It's gonna be
I feel
rough.
like if you want a flyer on like a rookie tight end, like you want them to have proven they can earn targets in college. Like Theo Johnson did not earn targets. And how many times have we done this song and dance with these athletic tight ends? Like we have edged ourselves with Donald Parham because of fucking Levitan for about 4 years straight. It just doesn't happen.
You could talk me into Jatavian Sanders 18th round.
Yeah. Little Bryce. I mean, those Bryce backdoor stacks going to be cheap.
So isn't backdoors like there's just so many options this year because of how bifurcated the quarterbacks are. There's like 8 ones you really want, and then 5 that you're okay with, 3 that you think you're smart for drafting, and then the rest are just like total losers.
Well, I was going to kind of rubber stamp your Bo Nix take, Davis, and say that Bo Nix is a better pick in drafts right now than Drake May. Because I feel pretty confident Bo Nix is going to start 17 weeks. And if you go listen to the Jared Mayo pressers, you shouldn't have confidence that Drake May is starting all 17 weeks right now.
He's not. He's going to start 10 games. They're going to go. Brissett will start like a minimum of 2 and probably 6.
Yeah, Drake May is going to play when it matters, but like if he is only playing like 6 or 7 games, it makes him undraftable right now just because of the uncertainty until we get more on it. Patriots, man, if there's any franchise that wants to Galbrain it,
by the way.
Oh God.
Stack. I don't even know where their ADPs are, but stacking Drake May and Jalen Polk.
Yeah, I mean, I've done one Best Ball Mania team, and it has Drake May, Antonio Gibson, and Hunter Henry on it.
Like, what even is their receiving core right now?
The Broncos or the Patriots?
Patriots.
Kendrick Bourne, Demario Douglas, Jalen Polk, Javon Baker, Juju Smith-Schuster, Hunter Henry, and another guy I'm forgetting. It's all bad.
Parker?
Unless
Is Parker still on there?
No, he got cut.
Demario Douglas, Juju, Javon Baker, Rager, Tyquan Thornton.
Rager? Tyquan, yeah, Pete. Pete, are you going to be? Pete, are you logging back on to draft him with Sean Siegel again this year?
No, I do like those 2 Patriots guys though as picks. I've been shocked. Like, I feel like the take of Baker might be the better pick than Polk has like kind of already jumped the shark because I see those guys going like right next to each other in drafts, and it's like I like Baker if he's the 18th round guy but if he's going right next to Polk, then like Polk is the way better pick. But I don't know. I think once Drake May starts, I think that offense is definitely going to be better than expected, which is mainly just saying people have such low expectations for it.
Yeah, I mean, fair low expectations, but it's like if I'm going to look at one of these quarterbacks, I mean, obviously McCarthy is the one that is most likely to go full Stroud, but May is likely to be the one that no one sees coming, is not drafted 100%, like elevates a whole offense. I'm not even saying that's the most likely thing, but you could see the Patriots winning 10 games, being way better on offense than anticipated just because Drake May is him.
Yeah.
The Consigliere says, paint me a picture. After round 15, QB2 with an alpha or QB3, Fields, Brissett, or Minshew. So I don't think Brissett belongs in that conversation.
What round did he say?
After round 15.
How about after round 18?
Yeah.
Fields, I was going to say Fields or Minshew. Which would you?
I mean, I'm taking.
You don't want
Fields.
any Fields.
I'm taking Fields in that spot. I mean, all of those guys are like it's the Fields thing's at least binary, right? He's either out on the field like balling out, or you're taking a 0. Like, what is Minshew's 14.5 points per game doing for you?
Yeah, correct. I mean, I'm probably not gonna take very much Justin Fields, but at least if I lose, I'll know why I lost, which is that Justin Fields ends up starting in week 17 or whatever.
Yeah. You probably can get more of Fields guys also later if you wanted to.
I don't even. You probably want Fields like almost naked, really. Maybe just with one guy. You don't
heard of
want
stacking a player.
I don't really. Fields is like you kind of want. You probably
You're
just
acting
want
like
one guy with him.
okay, well, that's fine. Like you're acting like DJ Moore didn't get a 50 burger at one point last season.
I'm not. But who else had fantasy
You
points
are.
in that game?
I don't know. They don't remember.
I think like Roman Wilson and Fields, Pickens and Fields, Freiermuth and Fields, all that's fine.
Yeah, I thought George Pickens was overvalued as is. I think the gap between him and Roman Wilson is way too big, right? Like it's like a 10-round gap. And I would take all kinds of plus money on Roman Wilson even outscoring George Pickens this year. I don't think that's that crazy of a take.
I got a question for you, Peter. Let's say Russell Wilson goes to jail for his bubble water being shown as a scam or whatever, and he's got to go to jail. So Justin Fields is starting for the 2024 Steelers. Where does he go all the way back up to quarterback 8?
That's a good question. I mean, the first thing I would say is like, is there any way? I don't know. Can he flip Jaden Daniels? Like, I think of it as a progression of like, there's
he for
Kyler.
Sure can flip Jaden Daniels.
That would be kind of crazy to me. I think he would go up and be kind of like neck and neck with Jaden.
Jaden is going to be when Soccer Dave opens the app for the first time. Jaden Daniels is going to be in a spot that he is not comfortable with.
Yeah,
I've got Jaden as my quarterback 10 right now.
So, did you guys have any? Obviously, you did the big board drafts. Did you have anyone that just had their value just tanked? Like, where is your EV after the draft?
Yeah,
let's talk about some Jets running backs, baby.
Yeah. Braylon Allen and Isaiah Davis going to the same team. Not ideal for this guy.
Two of my top 5 most drafted backs in the big board, Izzy Abanikanda and Braylon Allen. What a fun run out that was.
Now, Braylon is live, I think, because they clearly did show this with Cook last year. Like, they did want to use another, like, they don't want Breece Hall getting all these up the middle carries, but it's still, like, obviously playing behind maybe the best running back in the NFL is really not ideal.
Yeah, it's just a bummer because it's like when you have 3 running backs who we all like, and it's like, how many spots could we go around the league and say, could we have a nicer handcuff? Like, dare I do greatchiefs.com, Davis, like Braylon Allen backing up Pacheco. That would have been very fun.
No, he would have been a bad fit Chiefs.com. Isaiah Davis would have been a good fit Chiefs.com.
My point is there's so many backups we are not enthused to take, and the Jets have 3 backups that we all are excited about.
Well, I got good news for you. Abanikanda is not going to be a Jets backup for all that much longer.
What about Jalen Wright?
He's fun.
I think this is a bit of a false flag situation. Just one man's personal opinion.
Like, that's why when you said A-Chain at like the end of the first, beginning of the second, like, it just feels like there's so much competition there.
Yeah, I just think ultimately my strategy is going to be I'm going to draft the guy who had multiple 50-point games and averaged 7.8 yards per carry. And if that makes me a pariah, then so be it.
I just don't think they have to be mutually exclusive, right? Like, how many times have we said we want stabs at this offense, and they really have no talent, outside of those 4 guys. And now they finally added an intriguing guy. We also know 2 backs can survive in this offense. Like,
yes.
And so then the last thing is like playing it through the cheapest piece is like always a smart strategy. I mean, Jalen Wright's going to be pretty cheap. I don't think he's ever going to get crazy steamed. I think I'm going to end up having a lot of
Jeff Wilson, the cheapest third piece last year.
Remember when Raheem Mostert used to be considered an injury-prone drafter, and now he's 33 or 32, and now he's the running back 25 or whatever? I do find that sort of interesting.
Which one of your picks landed in the best spot? Like, guys that you were high on?
Xavier Worthy, baby. My most drafted guy, nut landing spot.
Guy you might have heard of. Dylan Lauby. You might have heard of him.
Just a total nut landing spot.
I can't tell if you're being serious. It is the nut landing spot. What
It's
backfield
fine.
what backfield was more wide open than the Raiders?
Well, I mean,
Dallas.
The reason it's the nut is because they don't have a strong pass catching back. But like the over under on how many carries Lauby is projected to have this year is.
We don't. I just need him to be Jerick McKinnon in the playoffs, brother.
Dude, I mean, you'll be lucky if you get Amir Abdullah.
I mean, let's be honest. I was sweating Dylan Lauby getting drafted. Period. After drafting him on 70% of my teams for the entire summer. So I'm gonna go ahead and take him going to a good landing spot and getting drafted. Let's see,
All right.
Dave.
We got to.
I gotta go. I had a hard out. I got a show at 2.
Final thoughts,
right.
Pete.
Tuttle, we need you back in the saddle, man. Yeah. We need to get you back here, and I'll even talk about MSI when I learn what that is with you, bud.
LOL. All right, see you, Pete.
Bye, guys.
Davis, one final question. That is Rams running back Sitch.
Yeah, I want to get your thoughts on this because I only know how nerds feel about it. My immediate reaction was it's clearly bad for Kyron that they draft this guy and then McVay comes out and he's like, yeah, he's basically Kyron. He does all the stuff that we like about Kyron. I viewed that as bad for Kyron Williams.
Yeah. I don't even know who it was, but they quote tweeted someone's like, name someone who used to be good at like fantasy football or something like that. And they said Kyron Williams. So, I mean, he could have a really short shelf life. For those that, watched college football last year, Gorm was just like, he was all around back and now lands in a good spot.
He was playing hurt. He was way better 2 years ago than he was this most recent season.
3rd round pick. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens with Kyron now at that running back spot. But I mean, I don't have any answer. I'm just flying blind here, and I'm going to continue flying blind. I'm not going to research anything.
Buddy, that is what the people want. The people don't want.
I'm not going to research anything. Asking questions. Focus. Head down on my dynasty leagues. Got one I'm going for. Another one that's I'm not sure if I'm going to go for it or not. Like I was supposed to rebuild for another year, and then stumbled upon all these stud rookies that I drafted last year. And so maybe it's like, well, maybe I do go for it. So
if you have Puka, you can't look a gift horse in the mouth. You gotta go. Right. Yeah.
Puka and Laporta.
Pretty big.
And like Dontavian Wicks, Michael Wilson. Like the only one I missed out on was Quentin Johnson.
Tough scene. That's a good rookie class.
It is. I did see also you tried to send a trade for Quentin Johnson and threw in like peanuts for him, hoping that I would.
I've been sending out 3rd round rookie picks for Quentin Johnson, and about half of them have been accepted.
All right, Davis, final thoughts.
Everyone who I draft, I hope you have a really healthy and fun off season. Everyone who I don't draft, I hope you retire and take up philosophy.
I would just say that this year's fantasy season is going to be like the longest fantasy off season. We're already starting. We're already drafting. Like it's and it started before that. So, my thing
summer,
is,
Dave.
Yeah. Well, get in a routine. Today's May 1st. Here at our company at Better Collective, it's move in May. So I'm walking at least 10,000 steps every day.
Oh,
and
sick.
Just getting in shape for best ball summer, for pickleball season, everything. And it should be a good off season. So if you haven't subscribed, please do so. Appreciate everyone tuning in. Appreciate Sosa just juggling shows left and right and getting to us after the baseball show. And if you need anything Sims related, anything projections related, baseball related, go to RotoGrinders.com. Got some specials there. And we'll see you next week here on the Swolecast on RotoGrinders.com. Peace.